There was once a traveler who walked thrilling new streets in foreign lands and sailed above the clouds into eternal sunrises. There is now a girl who watches the sky for passing planes, looking for her adventure. Silly goose. Skies of home gave her a brilliant sunrise welcome, but she yearned only for the blueness of the airplane cabin. She would go home with a forever itch for adventure, and she would have to learn to live with it.
There's no such thing as a perfect summer. There's that aesthetic that one aspires to. There's the pendulums of dullness and beauty, blistering moons and soothing evenings. There's the never-ending circle of inspiring mornings and defeating afternoons, glamorous twilights and enchanting dawns. There's the cauliflower-sized brain, composed of one stupid brain cell, crying for 12 more cups of matcha at 21 o'clock, but knowing medically that would be supremely unwise. There's expectations and disappointments. There's merriness and mundaneness, but one lasts and the other doesn't. But there are such things as perfect watermelons. I know I and others feel mostly the pretty bits of life, the dark knots of who I really am and what my life really is. They're not part of the cinematic universe. But July was terrible. I like storms, that is, real life ones. Sometimes the grayness feels safer. But of course, I fear metaphorical storms. July gave me a lot of clear days with terrible metaphorical tornadoes. I should not say July gave. July, you are one in a dozen, and you are lovely. But with people, nay, a person, singular, storming upon my head, I suppose I gave myself storms also. But, sometimes hope becomes menacing. It's easier to wallow in despair. Sadness, funnily enough, becomes comforting. It's hardly true comfort. But when the anger somewhere between your heart and throat can go up in the sky, and the clouds roar it out for you, I don't know, there's a fearful loveliness in that. These days, I edit my films ceaselessly. One day, I'll reach the last folder, drag a last clip onto the timeline, export the last episode, and then there will be no more. And I cannot outrun my present in memories. I can dream, I can escape, in little fragments, through the search of the next excuse to get out of the house, the next book to capture my consciousness, the next sunset run, the next snack, next moonrise, coffee, cinematic inspiration, nighttime unconsciousness without thought. It ends, it always does, too soon. The moment the last sip of matcha is gone, the song ended. The last bite of yogurt swallowed, the video finished, the sunlight passed on. I go back to my stiff neck, and stupid burdens, and stupider little life. When I die, I want my spirit to be one of the duck-shaped clouds in the sky.
In real life, pocket watches and orange lamps can only do so much. Coffee and almond milk? A little more, and for half an hour or so, the rot was out of her brain. But anything she loved was a metaphorical arm to be twisted. And the arm was twisted frequently. What was in her real life? Nothing half so aesthetic as she's showing you.
Daily life is a song cycle scored for idiot humans and their vacuum cleaners, the worst of American accents, politely jovial laughs, toilet chokes instead of flushes, soaring rotisserie chickens, elephants falling up the stairs, curiously loud clocks in pace with the world, and out of pace with me, howling toddlers for parents and their increasingly twisted subjective realities. But you know what? There are always ways out of every problem in life. Provided it's 7 a.m., there's a sunrise and a trilling robin. It's very easy to say it, but I ought to believe in it more.
She became, if not innovative, then at least diligent in finding excuses to not be at home. There was the day she went with her mother to the clinical office. There she discovered her terrible loathing of office work. And then the days of her own job. Such jolly and chaotic days, and finite in number with the approachment of college. What would she do without any more loaves of free living light? What, for that matter, would her sister, who ate it up like a little French peasant, do? July rolled on, and the days were double-digited. And it was closer to August than to June. The girl was confronted with the preparations of her next phase of life. It rained, fantastically, unromantically, inconveniently. The Americans never seemed to bother with umbrellas. And, after orientation's brief taste of college life, home greeted her with a warm summer evening. Very soon, she would be saying goodbye to it all.